Ready? Move! Ready? Move! Husky pride!
Welcome to the Huskies Pulse podcast, a place where we get real with rising stars of the football world. I'm your host, Clarence Nelson, and today we are in the den with two rising stars from the Edmonton Huskies, one of the top teams in the Canadian Junior Football League. These young athletes are driven, determined, and at the heart of the new chapter of Huskies, fueled with new coaches, fresh energy, and undeniable talent. We'll dive into football, life off the field, a little bit of behind-the-scenes stories, and what it's like and what's in store for the new coming up seasons. Welcome. Today we have two gentlemen here, and that is offensive lineman number 72, Josh Thomas, and O-line number 50, Faalii Alaimoana. Did I say that right?
Alaimoana.
Very good. Welcome.
Yeah, no, thank you for having us.
Good to be here.
Good morning, fellas. I hope you've had your coffee and you're ready to go.
Absolutely. Been ready all day.
Good stuff. Let's start with a couple easy things to talk about. Of course, we're going to talk about football today, but can you tell us, and I'll start with Josh with this one, how did you get involved in football and why would you even try this kind of sport?
So football was it was a little weird one for me because I played hockey all throughout my life, all the way from like 8 years old. And then around high school, it was in grade 11, and one of my friends was like, why don't you try playing football? You already like hitting people in hockey so much. Why don't you do that? That's the entire sport, right? So the high school I went to was actually Archbishop MacDonald, but we didn't have a football team. So I went over to St. FX to try out and just kind of fell in love with it from day one. So yeah, and then here we are 7 years later, and here we are. So yeah, no, it's awesome.
And did you ever go back to hockey, or did you stick with that for a while?
Nope. I actually, in the middle of the football tryouts, I was like, you know what? I think hockey is just kind of done. Like, I knew instantly football was it, and here we are. So
good stuff. We might talk a little bit about Canada's game, hockey, too, as well.
I think we might have to for sure. So,
Faalii, what were you doing before you hit the football field?
Before football, I was big into rugby like my whole life, so I kind of had a background for similar sport. I never really wanted to play football. Like, people have been trying to get me to play since I was like 13, but I was never really that interested. Then in grade 11, I quit volleyball because I didn't like it, and then I decided I'd take up football because, like I said, they've been trying to get me my whole life.
And that was in Grand Prairie?
Correct, yeah.
And how were the coaches when you first got into the football scene compared to your other sports?
They were really good. It was weird having as many coaches as there is in football as opposed to the other sports I play. But yeah, they were really good, really welcoming. They helped me along the way. I wasn't that good when I started, so they were patient with me, and here we are.
And I think we all know that rugby is the root sport that football came from. So do you see any crossovers that helped you develop as a football player, having played rugby for a couple of years?
Yeah, like same kind of movements and just not being afraid to get in there kind of thing. Otherwise, like, there are a lot of differences still. I had to really get used to not being able to grab the ball, which I didn't love at first, but
yeah. No, and you know, I've seen and I've experienced the same thing when I watch football and watch rugby. I coached and played football. I never had the opportunity to enjoy rugby, but I think what I've learned from rugby teams and that sport is the camaraderie that happens not just among players but between teams. So speaking of rugby, what are some of the things you learned as a team player in rugby that translated you into a good team player in football?
Well, in rugby, like, a big thing is having camaraderie, like, among your team, being a brotherhood of sorts. And football's the exact same way, especially on the O-line. You have to be a really tight-knit group. So really learning how to be close with the people I'm playing with.
Mm-hmm. No regrets coming from rugby to football?
None at all.
You ever go back?
I want to when my football days are done, but I'm going to wait.
For sure.
Yeah.
For sure. Canada's sport is often, hockey is often referred to as Canada's sport. Do you miss parts of hockey now that you're a football player, Josh?
There are sometimes I miss it. I liked, it's honestly just the game. It's just two totally different games. I loved going on the ice, skating, shooting the puck, but I wouldn't change it for the world, of course. Like, gonna continue playing football for as long as I can. But I think once I get like up there in age, I'll join the beer league team and be like, back in my day, I used to be able to squat 400 pounds or something like that and be one of those guys. But
Great. So now that you guys are in football and you've been experienced players and you're in your final year of the CGFL, am I right? All with the Huskies?
Yep, final year.
Great. Who are some of the mentors that you've seen in your sport, either personally or somewhere on TV, or anybody that kind of inspires you to be a good football player?
Man, I mean, there's a ton that I can think of just within the Huskies organization too. Like, of course, newly head coach Marshall Klein, really inspired me. I know he's inspired a bunch of other guys on the team to be the best they can be. Yeah, no, he's been a huge part in my football development, my personal development, and there's a bunch more too I can think of as well, like players in the past that we played with, guys like, just a bunch. But definitely Marshall Klein's been the biggest influence probably on me, I'd say, with the Huskies and kind of developing who I am.
And when you're putting on your cleats and uniform, Faalii, who do you think about as a person that motivates you, a fellow football player, either now or a professional sport athlete?
I can't think of anything right
It's
now.
all good?
I'll come back.
Yeah, absolutely, for sure. Football teaches you a lot of lessons, and all sports do the same, but I think football does it in a unique way. And you know, Josh, you're in school right now. You're about to graduate from the University of Alberta.
Yep.
Faalii, you're building your career as a professional as well. How has football helped you with those things as you mature now that you're coming to nearly the end of your CGFL career and bringing that to real life?
I think one of those things is definitely work ethic, right? Like in football, like the saying is always like hard work pays off, and that's nothing more true than in football and as well in life, right? And in football, I could see myself every day showing up, going to the gym, in practice, trying to learn. And when I apply that work ethic to, say, my schooling or to jobs in the professional environment, it really paid off for me, actually. So
absolutely, that leader, you know, anybody can be a leader, and especially in football, you're all leaders in some way, fashion, or form, and taking that into real life activities and as a young man. Faalii, do you use anything outside of or that you've learned in football that in real life that has made you a better person?
A big one for me was like overcoming challenges, because like coming into football, like I said, I was fresh out of high school. I wasn't that good, and my first year with Huskies, I really had to improve if I wanted to stay on the team. And then it's the same at my job. I'm a heavy duty mechanic, but growing up, I've didn't touch tools at all. I had to learn to be open-minded and be patient with it.
Absolutely.
And I'm 2.5 years in, so
good. That's what we want. We want to see people grow even after this sport, and maybe even become alumni and give back to the sport. And I can look forward to seeing both you guys back on the field when you're done as a coach or something of that nature. Let's get into a couple things when it comes to game day and other prep. Anybody you know on the team that has a weird ritual or funny things, without revealing too much, but that you've seen either in high school or with the Huskies?
There's a certain offensive lineman on our unit that won't talk to anyone until he watches his Rocky Balboa fight scene.
Really?
Yeah.
It's okay to mention names.
He might go by the name of Bjorn Nelson. Walk into the change room. Hi, Bjorn. How are you? No response. He has his headphones on, looking at the Rocky fight scene, gives me a little nod. Like, yeah, he's locked in. He's ready to go. So, and it works off for him. I mean, all Canadian this year, and I got to start watching the Rocky fight scenes, to be honest, too. I think it's obviously working.
He got me on it. I was an all Canadian as well.
I think that's
There you go.
That's the thing, and start watching the Rocky fight scene. So, but
winning recipe.
Yeah.
So, Josh, I asked this question of a couple of other people that I've interviewed with the Huskies. So, say pregame rituals are a cool thing, and sometimes during practice you play music and things of that nature. If you were to name a person who should not be in charge of the music, either before the game, during practice, or otherwise, who is the worst DJ or worst aux person in charge? And I'll give you this caveat. Last person I asked, they said it was you.
Really?
Yeah, because apparently you play girly music. So here's your opportunity to throw a name, either you or Faalii, who should not be in charge of the music pregame?
So first off, I'd like to state that Ariana Grande, Olivia Rodrigo are great pregame ritual songs. Like, I just feel like I got to throw that out there. Who's pretty bad? I don't know. There's a lot of bad ones out there. Like,
I'd say JP.
JP, he has some decent ones. He likes Motley Crue. I mean, nothing wrong with Motley Crue.
That's old.
Yeah, like I like Motley Crue though. Like Kickstart My Heart, great song.
There's a lot of Chapel Roan in there. I don't think I could do that pregame.
Is that right?
Yeah, Chapel Roan, Sabrina Carpenter.
Oh my! I would have never guessed that.
You don't expect it, but once he's like, when he gets on the aux or starts playing music, it's like, wow, he's got a good range of music. That's one thing for sure.
Oh yeah.
So who is he? Also the funny guy too? Like if something's going on and it's a little tense and you want to break the ice, who does that for you on the team? Who's the funny fella?
Selfishly, I want to say me because I think I'm hilarious all the time.
It's not
I know.
Because I want to know. I told you guys before we talked today. Some people call you guys together Beavis and Butthead. Does that make sense?
No, it absolutely makes
see where
sense.
that's
I can see it.
from,
Is that right?
We're still trying to figure out who's Beavis and who's Butthead, but
you wear it proud either way.
yeah, either way, we're very proud of it. So
Good. Any funny fails that have happened over the past 5 years? You guys have been around a long time. Any funny fails on or off the field, traveling or otherwise? I know you guys got lots of other things that go on, the Rookie Road Show and things of that nature, but any funny fails? Somebody forgot their helmet, broke something they shouldn't have, or they're chronic, Wreck-It Ralphs or anything like that. Anybody who's maybe less responsible than others for certain things?
oh man, Faalii, are you kind of thinking of one right now, or?
For a funny fail, one that comes to mind, I think it was our second year. We were playing the Wildcats, and we had this play where we wanted to get our fifth-year right tackle a touchdown. So we sent him on a release. Quarterback threw the ball to him, wide open, missed it. And so offensive coordinator called a different play, didn't work. But the quarterback audibled back to that same play, let him try again, threw it again, straight out of the hands.
Hit him in the chest.
Hit him in the chest.
And bounced right off.
Yeah.
Hands made of cardboard.
Oh, yeah.
He's got hands like a snake.
Yeah, he didn't hear the end of that one for the rest of the season.
Oh, that's too bad. Let's play a little game here. All right. So looking at each other, Beavis and Butthead, but you're going to change it up a little bit. If Josh was in a movie, and we're making a movie about Josh, what actor should play Josh if it was going to be a blockbuster movie? And you got to do the same for Faalii. So Faalii is in a movie, and it could be a comedy or a drama or whatever. Who should play Faalii? Who's a famous actor that should play him?
I feel like I'm going to take the low-hanging fruit, but obviously it has to be The Rock.
Good man.
But the personality doesn't suit it. I think you'd be like, how The Rock and Kevin Hart have comedy movies together, right?
Mm-hmm.
He looks like The Rock, but he's got like the personality of Kevin Hart. So
Oh, thanks, man.
yeah,
I was going to say a mean one. I guess I won't now.
you could say the mean one. I'm curious.
I think you know the mean one. I called you like all last year. Actors. I'll just say it. I'd say Danny DeVito. Short, similar build.
Attitude.
Yeah.
Can't stop talking.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is that right? It's got a little verbal diarrhea.
Big
a little
yapper.
bit sometimes, but I don't know. Everyone says I'm short, but personally, we measured it, said it's 6 feet, so we're gonna stay with that and not double check.
We'll leave your profile the way it is.
Yeah.
They were
It's all
very
good.
generous with that.
Okay, so we have some different atmosphere this year. We're trying to change up things so that we bring back the Husky traditions that have happened in the past. We have a new head coach and things of that nature. What do you see? What direction do you see us heading when it comes to different strategies? Like, are we doing something quite a bit different on offense? For example, you folks are on offense right now. Do you see some interesting things without revealing all the secrets to the opponents? Do you see some of the strategies being a positive change?
Yeah, absolutely. So I mean, the first one off is obviously the playbook. Wilkie's brought in a great system, great playbook that everyone really likes. Like I love it personally.
Mm-hmm.
As well, Klein's brought in that. He's brought in a new attitude for sure. Like it's, I don't know how to describe it, but you can feel it in the air. Everyone's excited for the season. Everyone's ready to win, and we know we can do it. So
Yeah, I'd say the same thing. Like tagging on to the Klein thing, everyone holds themselves more accountable now. And we hold each other more accountable. If someone's missing something, we're going to get on their ass about why they weren't there. And then, offense, there's some big changes coming. Big playbook change, and I'm really excited for this upcoming season.
Yeah, and there's going to be changes for both veterans like you and people coming up from high school. And you're going to see some rookies, if you haven't already, in the locker room and in the weight room. And my understanding is that you see a lot more people getting ready this season in the off season prior to May camp than you have in years past. Is that true, that you're seeing more bodies, you're seeing more commitment?
Absolutely, yeah.
Yeah, for sure, absolutely. Every time we have a workout, it's a packed house. You got 3-4 guys sharing a squat rack, which is great, right? You want as many guys in there as you can, and when you got to wait your turn to use a weight, it's a good sign, right? It's exciting. Everyone's putting in the work, looking forward to it. So
it's exciting for you folks being in the position you are as veterans to help some young people. Like, what are the things that you expect from yourselves or the other leaders of the organization in your roles that need to happen to help those rookies become successful? What are the things that need to happen for those rookies?
From leaders, a big one is keeping their heads up. Especially as a rookie, it gets hard if you're not seeing the results you've seen in high school, or maybe coaches being a little hard on you. But we have to make sure we're there, making sure they don't give up on themselves in a way.
Yeah, the transition from high school, would you agree that you remember those days coming off of high school, maybe having some success in high school, and now you're not the big man on the campus anymore. You got to fight for your position. Does it continue to be that way every time you see a rookie come on the field?
Yeah, I'd say. There are some exceptions who come out of high school and are just dominant. But for the most part, like you said, everyone is a superstar in high school, and then coming here, the speed of the game is so different. The physicality is different. Like in high school, I could get away with just being stronger than the guy. Here, I actually need good technique. And so... Yeah,
that playing ground, if you're a large, strong person in high school, you can kind of get away with some of the things that made you successful there. But now you're coming across people maybe same size, maybe even bigger, and you need to work at that. And that's what I'm hearing from you, is that these rookies need to understand that.
Yeah,
it's no longer just about weight or even raw skill. It's about developing your techniques, working as a team, especially on offense, and relying on each other. 2 names I'll ask from each one of you. Who should we look out for rising young stars that you might have seen so far? Any names of rookies that you're looking at, you're saying, wow, I'm glad we brought him on board?
Yeah, no, I mean, there's a ton right now. I know the offensive line is pretty... it's been a great recruiting class for the offensive line. Those are the guys I'm most familiar with for sure. I've seen some star receivers out there as well. They're catching balls and do what receivers do. But one of them that's really stuck out to me so far was Logan Park.
Logan Mark.
Yeah. We got 2 Logans on the team right now, and they're both Logan Clark and Logan Mark. So it's a little confusing. So Logan Mark, yeah, no, he's really developed he's developed really well so far. Great kid, knows the playbook really, really well, which is impressive coming out of high school, considering sometimes in high school programs you got 5 different plays for offensive linemen doing your steps. But he's picked it up really well and has been leading a lot of the other guys. So it's been nice to see.
Anything else, Faalii, that you see coming from either? I tell you what, let's talk about not just rookies, but people that have been around for a while that are starting to really come into their own. Do you see other people that have played in the past for the Huskies that are returning this year, that you see some positive things coming out of them even more this year than the rest?
Yeah, I'll keep it on the O-line because that's where I know my stuff. A big one that I see coming up is Jacob Patrick. I think he's bound for some special things this year, and he has one more year after this. I also say this guy right here, he's shown a lot of improvement. And yeah, I think he'll be great this year.
That sounds terrific. And I think the development portion of what's happening in the off season, from what I've seen and heard from you folks, is going to flourish this year. Tell me, when you get onto a game film and the announcer has introduced everybody and we've sung "O Canada," what type of things keep you going during the game when you're on a hot day? It's third quarter. It's a tight game. What do you guys reach for, or what do you appreciate that keeps you going in a game at that point?
I mean, honestly, the guys beside me, right? I've been playing with Faalii for 5 years now. I've been playing with most of the guys on the offensive line for 3+ years now, right? And it's we are in this together. We all have the same goal. Like those are the things that really motivate me. As it's not even either just the O-line either. It's everyone on that team, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like coaches, other players, like just the guys around me. Like that brotherhood's really real, and those are the guys that kind of motivate me to keep pushing no matter what.
Would you say the same thing, Faalii?
I would. I would also say another one is like the competition aspect of it. I know that if I don't perform at my best, there's someone next in line who's coming to take my spot.
Yeah.
The next day.
Absolutely.
So that's always a big driver for me is I want to keep my spot as a starter. So I'm going to go there and perform the best that I can every time I play.
When does preparing for the next game start for you guys? Does it start just before the game? Does it start the night before? Does it start early in the week? When does that start for you folks?
Honestly, just week by week, right? We so say we play a game on Sunday and we'll watch the film. Like I'll personally watch the film that night. The team will watch it probably the next day or day after, and I'd say within the day, like we're already looking at to the next game, right?
Yeah.
Like there's not too much time to mourn losses. There's not too much time to celebrate wins. It's always what can I do to get better for the next game.
So like the next play of the next game is the most important. What's going on,
Exactly.
regardless of the score, regardless of the referees, whatever happens that last game, it's a learning experience.
Yeah,
And
exactly.
moving forward. Faalii, I'm going to ask you a question that not a lot of people ask, and that is when you guys come off the field from a series and you're coming onto the bench, you're getting your water and you're talking with your position-specific coach, what are some of the things that you guys talk about between series? Because, I know what happens, but moms and dads and a lot of people that are watching from the stands, they're curious about, what are you guys talking about?
A big one for me when I come off is I'll ask like what happened on the plays we lost yards or let up a big sack or whatever. I'll ask what happened here, how can we try to fix this, or like if there's a play that I forgot what I'm supposed to do, I'll say, can you draw this up for me? So I'll just try to get in the mental state and realize our mistakes and try to mitigate them throughout the game so they don't reoccur.
Is that something that you did in high school too, or is that something you learned in CGFL?
I didn't do it too much in high school, no. I started doing it really with the Huskies here.
And it's a benefit?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it helps you get back on the field and stay straight that way?
Yeah, in the right state of mind.
Yeah.
So.
What about the captains on the team? Who's the captains this year? Who are in the leadership group? How many do you have?
9 or 10 of us, I think.
Around 9 or 10, I think, for sure. So.
And do you think they're going to be a big part of building this team and bringing those veteran players to where they need to be and warming up the rookies that come?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah,
I'd say. Even now, outside of the season, we got leadership guys keeping others accountable, keeping other leaders accountable, and just making sure that the team's a team, bringing guys together and doing what they need to do.
So say you turn back time and you're talking to yourself in high school now and you're not sure about the Huskies or CGFL. What advice would you give to yourself or maybe people these days that would help them get to where you folks are 5 years into the season or into your tenure?
I would say just stick with it. My first year with the Huskies, as I mentioned, I wasn't very good. I came to the verge of quitting like 2 weeks into main camp my first year. And that was a really tough time for me, but I talked to some people and they talked me out of it. If I had to go back and tell myself one thing, it would be just don't give up on myself. Just keep striving to go further.
For sure. Josh, anything advice you can give? You're going to be a teacher soon.
I am going to be a teacher soon, so.
And you're going to graduate from the university, and now you're going to see young people all the time, impressionable young people.
Yeah, for sure.
How can you positively influence them and give them something to think about?
I think just making sure, or if I had to talk to myself, of course, just saying believe in yourself, as well as my future students. I'd be like, believe in yourself, you can do it, right? As corny as it does sound, whatever you put your mind to, you can achieve, right? And I think I've really shown myself with football from where I've started playing and where I am now that is a possibility. So,
and knowing that what you do now and being a veteran person, where do you think football's going now? It's changed even in the 5 years that you've been around with technology and a few other things. Maybe even some rule changes. There's talk about limited number of weeks per year that you can have contact in the sport, whether you're practicing or not. Where do you see football going from now? Are there things that you would recommend that would make the program better? I should say the game itself or the CGF. What things, if you're the commissioner now and now you want to make some positive change, what are some of the things you might consider?
Man, I'm not too sure, and that's probably why I'm not a commissioner, and I don't think I should ever be. But
have a think about that.
Yeah.
And we'll come back to that question. We talked about music. Who's got the worst and the best fashion sense? Who comes dressed like they came, slept in their car overnight, and who dresses like they're going out to supper every night?
I think some of the worst fashion sense is definitely on the line, both sides, offensive and defensive line.
Except for Wesley, I'd say Wesley has the best.
I think Wesley's probably one of the best dressed people in the team, period. Always wearing nice suits, everything like that. A lot of the guys on the line, like you'll see Faalii, he'll be covered in grease, stink like cars, and it's like...
Stink like cars.
JP, not great either. A lot of the other offensive linemen are pretty rough as well. I consider myself in the middle of the pack, like not too fancy, but not too gross. So I'm average, I would say. So not too bad. But I would definitely say Wesley's the best.
Wesley's definitely the best dressed.
And does he know that? Will he tell you that?
Oh yeah,
yeah,
100%
definitely.
tell you that.
Yeah.
Like you'll be like, I'm the best dressed person here, and you can't even lie. Like he is.
Yeah. The first time I went to a Huskies postseason banquet, he came up to me, he shook my hand. He's like, he wanted to sell me my own car.
Yeah.
And he's just that charismatic fella. And you're absolutely right. I think he wore, I'm going to say like a salmon colored or a light colored suit.
Yeah.
And I can't afford those things that he wears for sure. Good stuff. When it comes to opponents and sometimes arch rivalries in the league, who is going to be your target this year for teams?
I think right off the bat, since Regina, it's the first week we're playing them. The very first week we're playing them twice this year, and I think Regina, like my very first playoff game, actually we played Regina 2 years ago, and we lost them in a very, very close game.
And a heartbreaker.
Heartbreaker. So
I remember that.
Yeah, that one still stings me a little bit. So I think Regina is definitely, especially since they're the first week, if we beat Regina, make a statement game, it'll put the league on notice for sure.
Faalii, anything stand out for you? Something you want to get back?
I would say Regina like him, and I would also say Saskatoon. Of the teams in the PFC, those are the only two that my time as were with the Huskies, I've never beaten them. So I really want to get back at them in my last year. And they're also the only two teams that have knocked us out of the playoffs in the past 5 years.
So this year's going to be different.
Oh, yeah.
Regardless. Do you anticipate them not seeing what's coming when it comes to you guys stepping on the
Oh,
field?
definitely, yeah.
Yeah. Both in your discipline and in how you've grown. Speaking of that, when it comes to you folks, this is a team sport, and there's no question about it. The first thing that comes up all the time is what's best for the team and what's important now for the team. What do you expect from yourselves as far as different ways to do better as an individual? What do you expect from yourselves this year?
Like for a goal for the season?
Yeah, like personal goals or otherwise. You're in your fifth year now.
Yeah.
You have to think about the fact that you might not play football after this.
Yeah.
What do you want to leave on the field this year that you haven't in years past?
I mean, it's everything for me, right? Like my entire effort this season is going to football. Like whether that be film, working out, recovery, every aspect of my life this season will be dedicated to football, winning that national championship at the end of the year. Because I'll be starting my career obviously after this season, and this is the last time I'll be playing football. So it's like, got to put everything out there.
Same thing.
Yeah, I'm going to be putting it all out there like him. My personal goal for the year, though, is I want to be the PFC Outstanding Lineman. I feel like I've accomplished a lot, but I feel like I still have more to go. I think that's the next step in my journey as a football player.
Yeah, and those are great things to hear, because I think the expectation is that we take this to the next level, and those teams that have traditionally walked away with those wins are either going to walk away without a win, or they're going to be having some scars from that experience. So let them remember who they were sharing the field with, right? Good stuff. Josh, I asked you what your favorite quote was. What was that quote, please?
It was any given Sunday.
Tell me about that.
So, I've heard this quote quite a few times. I've heard it a lot last season. And just like anything can happen on Sunday, right? Win, lose, you can upset the biggest teams or you can be upsetted, right? So it's one of those things where it's like you got to be prepared for every time or every Sunday, every game. Be ready. You got to put everything out there. You got to win, right? Anything can happen. I've also kind of like brought this quote to my own life, right? Any given Sunday instead of it's any given Monday, any given Wednesday, right? It's just one of those quotes that I can find that anything can happen and that it's my chance to like seize the opportunity for myself.
Really good. Faalii, what's your favorite quote?
My quote is, you don't have to be great to start, but you have to start to be great. That one ties into, like I've mentioned a lot, coming to the Huskies very inexperienced and almost quitting. Just you can't like let the fear of failure stop you from doing something. Even if you are inexperienced at it, if you really want to do it, chase it. Whether it be football or for me with my work, doing something brand new. It's scary, but more often than not, it'll pay off in the long run.
For sure. Sounds like you guys have been through a lot in your 5 years. Which experience has taught you more, wins or losses, and why?
I'd say losses. I've, to be honest, like we have won a lot, but I don't really remember the wins, right? It's always the losses that stick with me and what I could do better. I think the losses are where you learn the most in football and, of course, in life, right? Kind of learning what to do better next.
Same.
Yeah, I agree. There is still a lot you can learn from winning, but it sticks with you more if it's after a loss.
Would you agree with this statement that anybody can come back from a win and come back to practice, but it takes real character to come back from a loss or an injury or a disappointment, and you still come to practice every day?
Absolutely, yeah. It's one of those things in life where it's always tough to come back, but when you're down, but yeah, definitely for sure. It's always tough to come back after a loss, but one of the most important things is you do come back.
Coming back is important, but being bought in every week too. Like coming back, just going through the motions, already giving up on the year, that doesn't really help anyone. But coming back, actually wanting to see improvement out of yourself, that's huge.
For sure. Let's say football wasn't in your life and never came into your life. What would you be doing now if you weren't playing football? Other than school and work, what would you be doing? What shines? Like there's guys that do things after hours and stuff that have other interests, but what would Josh and Faalii be doing if, well, first of all, you might not even know each other.
Yeah, definitely
No,
not.
we would.
We
Yeah.
would.
There you go.
Yeah.
So your friendship is based partially on this sport. What would you be doing if you weren't playing football?
I feel like I'd probably be taking up some other kind of sport, whether that be, it'd definitely be beer league hockey. I wasn't the fastest skater, if you guys can't tell. I might have been a little slow.
It's
but,
quality, not quantity.
Exactly, right? But definitely some kind of sport, whether that be hockey, some kind of martial art, because I love the contact, obviously, for football, but some sort of sport for sure.
Yeah, I probably would have tried to stick with rugby, ride that out as long as I could. I also really loved basketball. I probably would have tried to pursue that, but I don't think that would have gotten me that far.
Perhaps.
So,
Let me ask you this question before we wrap it up here. You guys have had, like many other athletes, the opportunity to play a competitive sport, a team sport. In your life, whether it be in school or at work or otherwise, have you come across people who have not had a chance to play on a team and they grow up differently? How does that reflect on them? I've seen some people, like I can tell right away, they've never played a team sport. They don't have the resilience that I see other people who have played sports with. Have you seen that in your life, that it's unfortunate that not everybody gets an opportunity to play sports in Canada?
Yeah, absolutely. It's I'm like you as well. I can tell instantly when someone hasn't had that team sport kind of experience, right? Because these are your teammates, right? You're going to be with them. I'm with Faalii more than I probably should be, right? 6 hours a day for 3 months at a time in the in season, not even counting the off season, right? So it's just, you can easily tell. It's I think being on a team sport is important. Mm-hmm. It teaches you how to get along with people, work with other people, as well. It gives you a chance to make amazing lifelong friends, right? So
Same thing, which is
yeah. And like really helps you open up to new people. I'm a pretty introverted person, but really playing sports helped me break out of my shell, and I'm not nearly as bad around new people, I guess is a way to say it.
I'm going to ask you the final question. What does success mean to you guys? So if you want to be successful, what is that, how do you define that yourselves? Success. In other words, sometimes it's about winning, but not always winning. What does success mean for you folks?
Success is, I think it goes a lot with accomplishing goals, right? Whether that be personal goals for myself, say that be doing something in practice, trying a new technique, or the ultimate goal, winning like the championship, of course, as well as just in day-to-day lives, right? Did I successfully get up on time for work today? Did I successfully eat the right food? Right? So that's kind of what I think success, right? It doesn't have to be those big, broad, overarching aspects. They can be that smaller goals, right? So
Yeah. What about you, Faalii? What does success look like?
For me, it's just going out every day, being the best version of myself that I can be, whether it be in football or as a brother or as an employee, whatever it is, just putting in max effort and being the best person I can.
Good, and that resonates with me because I've heard it been said that success is when ordinary people do extraordinary things. It's not necessarily when a doctor finishes the surgery or a nurse helps somebody or an officer helps somebody. They're supposed to do those things. It's when people, like ordinary people like us, get up every day and do the extraordinary things that we do. So thank you for that. Any final words before we finish?
Well, thank you so much for having us. It was a pleasure.
Yeah, for
Never
sure.
been on a podcast before, so.
No, it was fun.
When does May camp start again?
Main camp, I think it's, forget the exact date, but I think it's around July 20th, give or take.
Yeah.
Got it. And there is a camp coming up for high school
Yes.
people coming to experience a little bit of Husky territory. Are you folks helping with that?
We will be, for sure. So
Good.
it'll be good.
Take it easy on those guys, but put a little pressure on them,
A
would
little bit
you?
of pressure, right? I'll give them the mean stare, kind of stare at them a bit, but it'll be good. They'll have a lot of fun.
Very good.
Yeah.
Thanks for coming, guys. We'll look forward to seeing you both on and off the field. And I want to see how those fifth-year players bring it to the opponent system. Thanks so much, folks.
Absolutely.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
There was some video, I can't remember what it was. And then said for Evan that Evan was, what's his name from The Gladiator, the movie, the first one? Russell Crowe. But he says, I want you to understand, not the Russell Crowe, like the current fat one. That's what he said. About Evan. I'm like, okay, we're gonna keep that one.
Yeah, nope.